here we are recording this, so any of your colleagues who could not come can get it on the Care Prep website, or if there's information you want to hear again, it is recorded. Jen will give you the contact information for that before we leave. We're going to have the two presentations, 15 minutes each, and then we'll do Q&A, because if we're trying to not stop the Q&A so that we can get both presentations in, and also any networking. If you want to tell us about anything that's going on in your agency, by all means do that. And Jen, why don't you start with the introductions and greetings?
Sure, and thank you everybody for coming. I know it's such a beautiful day outside. My name is Jennifer Crawford. I am a program specialist at Department of Senior Programs and Services. I bring greetings from our Commissioner, May Carpenter, and from Colette Phipps, who is the Director of Program Development and also Executive Director of Livable Communities. Thank you. Oh, I see Alan's here.
Oh, got it.
Okay, got one of the two guest stars here. Great.
Oh, so, I'm sorry.
So Jen, do you want to talk about the chat room or anything?
Sure. So if you have any questions, we'll be having a Q&A session at the end, and I'll turn off the recording for that. If anything comes up as our presenters are talking, feel free to put it in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat as well. So again, feel free to put questions there, and then when Q&A, we'll get all your questions answered.
Okay.
And this also too, this is being recorded. We will put it on our Care Prep Westchester website. I'll put the address in the chat just so you have it, but it is very simply careprepwestchester.org. Okay. Thanks, Louise.
Okay, great. All right, so as I said, we're going to do the two presentations. There's a PowerPoint here that we're using, and then we'll do questions and answers, and hopefully there'll be some time at the end for people to get to know each other or talk about their agencies or to tell us about any upcoming programs. So I'd first like to begin with Pat Krasnausky, who's the CEO at Cabrini of Westchester and Dobbs Ferry. I first met, I've been to Cabrini a couple of times for programs, but I first met Pat when she came to my Rotary Club to talk about the programs offered at Cabrini. And there's one in particular called Give Me a Break. It's a respite program for caregivers, and anyone who has been or works with or knows a caregiver realizes how important that is. So I'm going to begin by asking, Pat, you are the CEO, correct, at Cabrini? Yep.
Yeah.
And the Rotary Club thought she was great, and we actually went back the next week for St. Patrick's Day, and we brought a pizza for the staff and ice cream for the seniors, and we had bagpipers. So that was kind of a fun thing to do. So Pat,
Louise, do you want me to share the PowerPoint?
Yeah, that would be terrific. Thanks.
Sure.
Thanks, Jen. And thank you, Jen, for doing the PowerPoint. Jen is my technology guru.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Pat, why don't you begin?
Thank you. First, I'd like to introduce Susan Hersig, who's joined me here this morning. Susan is director of all of our external programs, fundraising, public relations, marketing, etc. So I asked her to be with me here this morning. Give Me a Break has a short story. Cabrini of Westchester has a long story. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we are a skilled nursing facility, St. Cabrini Nursing Home, plus a certified home health care program. We have apartments, low-income apartments for elders in New York City, and we have an outreach program to immigrants here in Dobbs Ferry. Mm-hmm. We have 304 certified skilled nursing beds. Among those, we have about 45 at any given time for specifically for subacute and short-term rehabilitation, people who are here for a short time and usually go home hopping after their rehab. The excuse me, the memory care unit is also about 40 beds. We have, in addition to those, we have 2 respite beds. Those are available at all times. They're private rooms. I shouldn't call them beds. They're 2 private rooms, fully furnished and available throughout the year to folks who need a break. They can either be sponsored by Medicaid through one of the programs. Actually, Ellen's program is one of the many that has utilized the respite beds for residents to give caregivers a break over time. Or people can pay privately. They pay the private rate, whatever that might be. Last year, we had the opportunity to apply for a grant to the Field Hall Foundation, excuse me, and specifically to apply to provide respite care in order to give caretakers a break. So therefore, we call this the Give Me a Break Respite Program. And this permits caretakers to apply for up to 7 days, possibly more in an emergency situation or a difficult situation, of free respite care so that they can take a break, so that they can go maybe for medical care that they need, or on vacation, or get the house painted, or whatever is required. There's no charge for this. Obviously, we don't discern the actual financial status of the elder who's being cared for, but we do ask through the interview process if what the status is. There's a very brief application form. The main application for the program has to do with the PRI. Everyone needs a PRI to come into a nursing home, and the elders who come into this program are considered full residents during that period of time. So we do get a PRI for everyone, and we're willing to send one of our home care nurses out to do that PRI so that it's not an additional cost to the caregiver or the elder. And based on that, we usually make a decision for admission. While the person is here, they receive everything that any other resident would receive. So it's a fully furnished room. They are seen by the attending physician on that nursing unit in order to admit them properly. They receive their medications. They take part in activities. If they need some short-term rehabilitation while they're here, a bit of a tune-up, all that's provided. We assist with a list of what to bring with you when you come, because it's always a surprise to people, and we walk people through the entire process. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. People who have community Medicaid can come in on respite under community Medicaid. If they don't qualify for community Medicaid, then we obviously will take them free of charge during that period. So I think that probably is everything I have to offer. And if you have any questions now or later, I would take them.
Okay. Thank you, Pat. If any questions, as I said, put in the chat box. And now I'm pleased to introduce Ellen Gloskin. Ellen is the program director at Archcare for the PACE, including the PACE program, which is an all-inclusive medical care program for seniors who want to remain in their homes. And Ellen, what you can begin and tell us a little bit about the program.
Okay. So
a brief video as well.
yes, it's a 2.5-minute video, and it will explain everything, but I'll just give a little brief overview. We could watch the video, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions. But Archcare started a PACE program in 2006 with the offices right now in Manhattan, Staten Island, Bronx, and in May of 2018, we opened the Westchester program, and we're located in Dobbs Ferry actually at Cabrini, we have our own entrance around back. So we work very closely with Pat and her team. So PACE stands for All Inclusive Care of the Elderly, and is for people 55 and over. The people that are on our program, we call them participants because they participate in their care. So they're 55 and over, and it's either Medicaid, or we do have private pay for those that would like to join. Our goal is to allow eligible seniors to remain in their home if that's their preference for aging, so they can age in place. We provide integrated health care and social services. And one of our goals is to decrease hospitalizations and keep people home with all the services that they need and remain safely in the community. So we have, for the home care piece, we have nurses, PT, OT, speech, social work, recreation, nutrition services in the home. And we can offer it there, as well as a home health aide. We send their medications in individually labeled blister packs, but we can still do the pill bottles for those that prefer. We do if they have any of their incontinence supplies, their wound care supplies, wheelchairs, rollators, anything that they're eligible for and need, we can provide that for them. In our location in Dobbs Ferry, we have a wellness center. Think of it as a more advanced social day. We have a variety of different social activities. We provide breakfast, lunch. They're very nice meals, as well as snacks for those that choose to stay till the later afternoon. And we're open from 8:30 to 5. We have people on our PACE program that attend. They can attend one day, all 5 days, or as many days as they'd like. And that piece, that wellness care piece, is also something in the community for people that want to private pay and attend our wellness center that are not part of the PACE program. That is an option for them as well. So we, at our center in Dobbs Ferry, we have some people choose to have our primary care physician who is located there. We can do our lab work, x-rays. We have a rehab room, so rehab can be done there, especially for people that benefit from office rehab because you have more equipment and don't want the rehab in their home. So we offer a lot of different services for people, and they can choose where they want to receive their services. Archcare, PACE program now, over the past few years, more than a few years, probably over 10 years, has slowly started to have community-based primary care doctors. So we always see some people choose to keep their primary care doctor. And if they're in our network, as we do have in our network now, they can keep their primary care doctor, or they can choose ours, and they would have that option. I think the PACE program is just a wonderful program, just because whatever you need is there. And many people stay on the PACE program. They can disenroll if they want. We hope they don't, but most people stay until their end of life because they're able to receive all the services that they need. And we also provide palliative care to them as well. What I thought I would do is watch the video. I have a video on, it's about 2.5 minutes, and I think it really explains the PACE program very nicely. And then I could answer more questions after that. The one thing I didn't mention that I find very important for people is we provide transportation to and from all medical appointments or to attend our wellness center. And their aides would go with them. If it is somebody that chooses not to have an aide, but does want an escort for their appointments, then we can provide that as well. So I think if we watch the video, and then we can, it'll show a lot, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay. So I think some of that might have been in another language as well. But
Yeah, I can play it again. I don't know why it was coming up in a different language on the subtitle.
yeah, I could explain a little bit more. I think it did show that our goal is really to assist the families to help keep their loved ones at home so that they can get on with, they have jobs and families, and we are here to help them keep their loved one out of a nursing home if they would like, if the person would like to age in place at home. And that's what it was really showing, a daughter who was really struggling to hold down a job and take care of her mother and run to all appointments and pay for transportation. And that's when you saw her doing the money. And our goal is to try and keep people at home as long as possible. And we work with the families. We're a team, and we have all the disciplines in place to help with that. As I mentioned, the nursing, the doctor, if they choose our primary doctor, or we work in coordination with their doctor if they're in our network. The PT, the OT, all the supplies, the transportation. And if they come to us for recreation, that's great. And if not, we provide them recreation at home. And usually they're home with an aide, and we teach the aide, we give the aide some things that they can give for the person to do at home. What you saw that there was a picture it's something called MedSign. It's really our telehealth. So for anyone that would like to have telehealth services, we set up the monitor in their home, and we have a setup in our conference room. So at any given time, we can do a telehealth visit, and all disciplines have used it for a variety of different things, and that's very, very helpful, especially during the COVID times. It was very helpful. So we have MedSign. Anyone that would like it is eligible for MedSign. And the other thing regarding home health aid services that I wanted to mention is that PACE is part of the CDPAP program, which is consumer directed program. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it, and we do work with that. What that would be is if someone has chosen a person that they trust to provide their care, Medicaid will, through us, we're part of that, will reimburse them for taking care of their loved one at home. And it could be a family member, a friend, anyone that they trust. And that person does not have to have a home health aid license. They just need to be someone that can meet the needs of the person, and that they trust, the family and the participant do trust them to provide the care. We provide them an orientation and a background check, and then they're good to go, and they can provide that care to them. So that's been very, very helpful to some of our participants that to prefer have someone that they know take care of them. So I don't know if anyone has any questions that I can answer about that program.
Jen, you want to go
Sure.
to the chat?
I will go into the chat. I'm going to stop the recording now for questions, and then we will continue.